not so different after all.
Pod 153. I order you to halt all logical thought and speech.
Fear not, A2! I can handle this!
Androids were designed to protect their human masters.
Even if it's pointless, you still have to do it!
You two are the last remaining members of YoRHa. That's not the operator.
From PlatinumGames, the developers of the well-loved but mostly overlooked Bayonetta, Nier Automata is the newest open-world RPG hack-and-slash action title. It takes place in the distant future, specifically the year 11,945 AD during the 14th Machine War. Fleeing from Earth after an alien invasion left ruin and countless numbers of hostile machines on its surface, humans were forced to double back to the moon in order to survive. In response, they created an elite force of mostly female androids dressed in gothic ballet-like attire, given the mission of taking back Earth and restoring glory to mankind. That's where you come in. You play as a female combat class android 2B and are early on partnered with 9S, a male recon class model to help you track down and destroy Goliath-sized machines to clear the way for future assaults, ensuring a return for mankind. Throughout the story, you uncover the secrets of the alien invaders and their army of machines and how they evolved. Throw in twists and turns, and Nier Automata gives you an emotional, thought-provoking, and engaging single-player experience with a great story, good anime-style dialogue, and multiple endings encouraging you to play through many times over, with each playthrough being different than the last. Unlike most Japanese RPGs, or RPGs in general, Nier Automata really stands out among the rest. It melds multiple different game genres into one seamlessly. It ambitiously combines elements of RPGs, bullet hell shooters, and hack and slashers. Its sense of scale in its immersive open world is mind-blowing, while also changing the pace often with hacking mini-games and its occasional platformer-style level design and perspective. Nier Automata is fascinating and always grabbing your attention. There's never a dull moment with its very odd and unique world, beautiful ambient and intense soundtrack, and enemy variety as well, constantly picking you up and letting you down softly just to jerk you back up again. It's an entertaining ride. Combat is also just as good. I would often find myself purposely hunting down machines to satisfy the craving of cutting through them with smooth, elegant swordplay. Running at 60 FPS 99% of the time, dashing and dodging around enemies while you slice and dice and counterattack looks like a beautiful, well-orchestrated ballet dance of death on ice. You have the option to customize and upgrade yourself, as well as 3 loadouts with many types of weapons and enhancements you find at merchants and throughout the world, like, for example, spears, katanas, and axes. The best feature of it all is being able to change mid-combo to each one with the quick press of a button, giving you the opportunity to do massive amounts of damage and the freedom to adhere to your own playstyle. You even have a selection of pod companions you can choose from that use either rockets or Gatling lasers, and 9S is also somewhat of an addition to your arsenal as well. He can definitely hold his own in battles, and you can adjust his combat style from anywhere to aggressive all the way to passive. And let's not forget about what I thought were epic cinematic boss fights with Goliath-sized machines. They are some of the best experiences I've had in a video game. Now, with a game that sounds this good, there can't be anything wrong with it, right? Well, there are a few things I didn't like. All of these weren't necessarily a problem for me, but I have to mention them for everyone. I'll start with the story's 26 different endings. As I mentioned before, Nier Automata offers multiple endings A through Z. Aside from the main 5 endings, that leads F through Z, and this is where I had a problem. Although I do appreciate fun and quirky endings, I found these to be irritating, and I would often be heading in the direction of my next objective only to take the wrong way and have the game end, telling me I unlocked a certain ending, quickly roll the credits, and cut to the title screen. This also happened in a few other situations as well, and after loading back in, I remember there is no autosave feature, and that leads to a problem most people might shy away from. You can only manually save during your playthrough by coming across save and transport stations spread out on the map, or when it's available, and it was never available when I needed it. Now, for some that's no problem, but for others it can be infuriating. It doesn't end there though. Even in death, Nier Automata doesn't forgive. It forces you to get good quick. If you're so close to defeating a boss or just any new, more difficult enemy and you no longer have healing items because you used them all and you die, you have to start the fight all over again with nothing unless you retrieve your body, and that's harder than it sounds. The tricky camera can add to the reason you may lose a fight as well. Unless you stay locked onto targets, you'll find yourself constantly adjusting the camera view because it doesn't really cooperate. Now, I'm sorry if this was a little confusing, but to sum it up, if you've ever played Dark Souls or know anything about it, there's an example. Although not quite that difficult, Nier Automata is definitely challenging even on normal, and if you decide to crank it up a notch, you don't get to use some features you did on easier difficulties like enemy lock-on. For some, that can be a turn-off, but for those of you who do enjoy a challenge, disregard this altogether because you won't find it as a negative. And lastly, side quests. While half of them are decent, they're mainly just fetch quests and kill orders. This is where a lot of open world games fall short. They're also hard to find, and I really didn't feel compelled to go out and searching for them. I'm sorry to say that Nier Automata does not have the rabbit hole type quests The Witcher 3 set the bar with. Overall, aside from its very few things that didn't sit well, I can appreciate the time and effort put into this gem of a game. There's really not much wrong with it. To add it all up, Nier Automata has a great story with amazing open world RPG gameplay, smooth as silk combat, and good graphics. It's a really good example of great single player experiences, but the difficulty might be off-putting for some, so definitely look into it more. You know, get a few more viewpoints or opinions from other reviewers like myself, or maybe you can try the demo, and you can find that on the PlayStation Store. So that does it for today's review, guys. I really hope this helped you out, and if it did, please subscribe and hit that like button to support what I'm doing here, and to see my thoughts on all upcoming games you might want to play. Also, check out my other reviews if you haven't already, and be sure to follow me on any of the social sites in the description below. If you have any comments, drop them down below, and I'll comment back. As always, thanks again for watching, have yourselves a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next review.